All right, today what we're going to talk about is where does your head go? And there's been such a misconception of people thinking their head needs to be right over the top of the ball, and that probably comes from the comment, keep your eye on the ball, keep your head down, all these kind of things that are not quite as they appear to be. And I'm going to show you something. You say, where is the center point? And the golf club's not coming out of your nose, and that's not the center point of the golf swing. Right here. See that right there? Right there. That's where the golf club's hanging from. That's where it's going to swing from. So you're going to find out that whether he's got an iron in his hand or a wood in his hand, the shaft's going to point right up in that direction. See that? Either way, it's going to point right up in that direction. And where is his head? His head is behind the golf ball, not on top of the ball, behind the ball. Now, one thing you can try doing is you set yourself up, have a golf ball in your right hand as you're gripping your club, and then lift your right hand up, take the ball, hang it from your nose, and just drop it and see if it lands on the golf ball or whether it lands behind the golf ball. But you've got to get behind the golf ball and watch. Even when he goes back, you see how his head pulled off that line? You see how his head is sort of facing this way, which is why Nicklaus was famous for turning his head to the right before taking the club back? Look how his head has also moved back a little bit. All right? But if you start off with your head behind the ball, of which Grant Wade here doesn't move it, he has the head almost as close to the ball as I would even like to see. I like to see a little further back in the first place. He wouldn't have to move back as much. But either way, whatever's natural for you, whatever works for you is fine. But you've got to get behind the golf ball so that you can thrust. You see, and as you thrust, you'll go back to that original position. But if your head's on the golf ball, and then when you go to the top, you're trying to keep your head on the golf ball as well, number one, you're going to get the reverse pivot, which is another video you can look at. And now you can't thrust towards the target. You're going to have to back up. See? He even backs up just a little bit right there. Look how his head stays right there. Boom. And then it releases and goes forward. So you've got to get your head behind the golf ball at address in the first place, which will create right here. If you see this, you'll see a little angle in the shoulder. The right shoulder should be lower than the left shoulder because your two arms are the same length, so the right hand's got to go down lower. And get your head behind the ball in the first place. And then when you take the club back, don't be concerned if the head sort of slides a little bit over to the right. It's not a problem. Most touring pros do that. So get your head behind the golf ball. That's the trick for today. This is Bobby Lopez, PGA Professional, signing off, hoping you'll be looking at some of our other videos and improving your game.